Job Requisitions and Costing Allocations for Grants. This video is designed to walk you through how to complete a job requisition and a costing allocation in Workday for a position funded fully or partially by a grant. Which process you use depends on whether a position is being created or if an existing position is being filled. Through this introduction, you'll learn how we manage positions at Madison College and when to use the job requisition or the costing allocation process. Throughout this video, we will use the term position. We use position because at Madison College, we manage employee expenses through their position. A simple metaphor for a position borrowed from HR.com is a baseball stadium seat. Imagine you are headed to a baseball game and approach your city stadium with your ticket in hand, showing exactly what section and seat you purchased. You have entered the stadium and are being able to easily find your assigned seat. The basic characteristics of the seat are the same no matter who sits in it. After the game, you leave the seat as is for the next person attending the next game. If a person doesn't have a ticket for the baseball game, they will not be allowed into the stadium until a ticket agent confirms that a seat is open and the fan has purchased. Position management is a lot like the stadium and seat. A position has to exist before a position can be brought into the organization. The college manages available positions through the job requisition process. In Workday, costing allocations are used for only one thing: splitting employees' pay between different work tags. If there is an existing filled position and all or part of it's being reassigned, the manager only needs to submit a costing allocation to ensure their pay is charged to the right work tags. Job requisitions are used for two things: creating new positions and filling vacant positions. If there is no existing position, the manager needs to create a new position to complete grant responsibilities and would do so using the job requisition process. If there is an existing vacant position or soon-to-be vacant position, the manager can use the job requisition process to begin the process of filling the position. There are other ways to pay employees that are not covered in this video. If a manager is assigned an additional job to an existing employee, paying a stipend, or using another mechanism for compensating an employee, the manager should refer to the Hiring, Staffing, and Job Changes in Workday website and talk to their HR business partner. We will begin with the Create New Position. This process applies to all full-time employees and part-time employees, excluding part-time faculty, student help, and casual employees. For information about these employees, visit the Hiring, Staffing, and Job Changes in Workday website and talk to your HR business partner. Creating a new position using a job requisition process is initiated by a manager or a department initiator. If the department initiator begins the process, the manager approves it. Then there is approval by the HR business partner, ensuring the requisition is needed and correct. The compensation administrator determines the appropriate compensation rate. Then, the Grants Office and Grants Accounting ensures grant funds are available, work tags are correct, and effective dates are correct. The Budget Office calculates final costs and sends the requisition to Cabinet for approval. At the Cabinet level, the Cabinet member responsible for the area approves the requisition, and then goes to the President's office for final approval. Begin by navigating in Workday to the Create Job Requisition task. To create a new position, select Create New Position. Click OK. Click the pencil to edit the job requisition. Complete the form. Note that required fields are marked with a red asterisk. Under Reason, the second option, please select Create New Position Grant Funded. When creating a new position, replacement for should be left blank. The recruiting start date and the hire date are required. The recruiting start date is usually immediately. The target hire date should not occur before the grant funds are available for the position. For grant-funded positions, an end date should be included that correspond with the end of a grant period. Click Next, and continue working your way through the form. Make sure in the worker subtype that you select fixed term if the employee is hired to work on a grant. If the employee is part-time, be sure to specify that in the time type field and make sure to update the scheduled weekly hours. That field is used to estimate the cost of the position. Skip the qualification section and follow the instructions at the top of the attachment section. Note that the job requisition justification form is how to specify how the position will be funded. When the form is complete, you can add comments, which is always helpful, and hit submit. If you get any red pop-ups, it means you missed a required field. You just need to go back and correct the error. Once you submit, you have launched the approval process. You can view the status of the job requisition in your archives. Filling a vacant position using a job requisition. The approval process for a job requisition to fill a vacant position is exactly the same as creating a new position. Approval is needed from HR Business Partner, Compensation Administrator, Grants Accounting, Grants Office, Budget Office, Cabinet, and finally President. Begin by navigating in Workday to the Create Job Requisition task. To fill an existing position, select For Existing Position. And select the position you would like to fill. Click OK. Click the pencil to edit the job requisition. Complete the form. Note that the required fields are marked with a red asterisk. Under Reason, you will select the fourth option, Fill a Current Vacancy Grant Funded. The recruiting start date and the hire date are required. Start date is usually immediately. The target hire date should not occur before the grant funds are available for the position. An end date should be included that correspond with the end of the grant period. Click Next, and continue working your way through the form. Make sure in Worker subtype that you select Fixed Term. If the employee is part-time, be sure to specify that in the Time Type field, and make sure to update the scheduled weekly hours. That field is used to appropriately estimate the cost of the position. Skip the qualification section and follow the instructions at the top of the attachment section. Note that the job requisition justification form is how to specify how the position will be funded. When the form is complete, you can add comments, which is always helpful, and click Submit. If you get any red pop-ups, it means you missed a required field. You just need to go back and correct the errors. Once you submit, you have launched the approval process. You can view the status of the job requisition in the archives. Assign costing allocation. The costing allocation process is initiated by a manager or the department initiator. If the department initiator begins the process, the manager approves it. It then goes to the Grants Accounting and Grants Office to ensure grant funds are available, work tags are correct, and effective dates are correct. The Budget Office calculates final cost. For fall only, the costing allocation should always begin on August 16 and end on February 15th. For spring only, the costing allocation should always begin on February 16 and end on August 15th. For the academic year, the costing allocation for a full-time faculty on a 24 pay period should begin in August 16 and end on August 15th of the following year. For full-time faculty on a 19 pay period should begin August 16th and end May 31st of the following year. Begin by navigating in Workday to the Assigned Costing Allocation task. Under Position Restriction Costing, enter the effective date, which should be the start date of the grant. Find the position in the Position Restriction field. You can do this by searching for a position number or an employee's name. Click OK. Begin by entering the end date of the costing allocation. This should align with the end of the period in which funding is available. Unlike the job requisition process, the costing allocation is tied to payroll. If the employee is a full-time faculty member, the costing allocation dates must align with the payroll dates for the terms or terms. Costing allocations can have multiple lines or splits where the payroll is charged to different sources. Grants should always use Fund 201 and must always have a grant work tag indicating which grant should be charged. You should enter the following information: fund, cost center, program, location, and grant work tag. If the employee is split, click the Add button to add another line or an additional lines and enter the appropriate work tags. If you have an attachment you'd like to include that would help the staff in grants and budget understand why you're making the change, please include the attachment in the Costing Allocation Attachment section. Enter comment, which we highly recommend, and then click Submit. If you receive a warning sign, please go back and correct the error. Once you submit, you have launched the approval process. You can view the status of the costing allocation in your archives. This concludes this video on the job requisition and costing allocation processes for grant positions. If you have any questions or concerns about the process, you can check out the job aids available from Hiring, Staffing, and Job Changes in Workday website. Talk to your HR business partner, or contact Grants Office, Grants Accounting, or the Budget Office. If you have any feedback on this video, please send it to the Budget Office so we can incorporate into further updates. Thanks for watching and good luck with your grants.